Good morning, everybody. It's your girl Miracle Sims, and you're listening to God, Sex, and Love. Your daily dose of inspiration and juice. It is September the 23rd, 2021, and today, the topic is liberal versus conservative Christianity. Oh, Lord. Yes, liberal versus conservative Christianity. Long story short, y'all know I'm in America. Those of y'all that know already. And this is an ongoing subject, ongoing thing. It's, people make it their way of life. It's just this whole thing, this idea of being liberal versus conservative, the right versus the left, the red versus the blue, however you want to see it. Yeah, I might as well go ahead and say the Republicans versus the Democrats. I mean, it just goes on, right? It goes on and on and on. And because of freedom of speech, I've seen a lot of things out there, right? A lot of things that uh, people with their blogs and whatnot, I guess proclaiming what they feel like Jesus will be doing in this season, and how one group is not as good as the other group, and vice versa, and all these different things. And so, um, now I did wake up at, let me see what it was, like 3:43, and that led me to some interesting verses this morning. So I thought I might be talking about that, but this came to my mind yesterday actually, and I said to myself, I just was like, okay, if I think of this tomorrow, as when I wake up, then I'll look into it. Well, it did come back to my mind this morning, and so I decided to just look into it. And as I was looking into it, I decided to go deeper, and then here we are. Here we are talking about this subject of liberal versus conservative Christianity. Now, if you are looking for me to tell you which one is right or whatever the case is, then this might not be the podcast for that. I don't think I'm going to do that. I don't know. We'll see what the Lord say and do, because obviously every morning I pray that He says whatever He wants to say through me. Um, but I mean, I think the more I was looking up this morning, and the more that I was going deeper and looking into what the Bible had to say and definitions and all these different things, there was only a couple of verses that I felt led to share. And then honestly, the rest of it, I feel like is on you as an individual, to determine what the will of God is, based on Bible. And so, yeah, I mean, for me, again, I do think that you can see clearly. I mean, I guess if you're a Bible believer, Bible reader, then you may be able to see in the season, like, what side leans more towards biblical values than the other, or vice versa. I don't know. I mean, because people honestly, well, yeah, to be honest, yeah, you can find, verses that will reflect both sides of the coin and whatnot. And so, and it depends, depending on the context that you use the verses and everything. I mean, you might be able to defend your idea, uh, or whatnot, right? So, yeah. So for me to sit here and be like, yes, this side is right, or yes, that side is right, or whatever the case is, would make me no different than any of these other people that are out here talking about what they feel like Jesus would be doing right now, and what they believe is, I guess, the correct way to live, and the correct way to handle other people, and just all these different things that people are constantly debating about. So, for me, I just felt led to more so focus on um, what what these words mean, because I spent a lot of time defining a lot of different words. So that was one thing. And then I did find verses that to me are very clear, but again, for me to sit here and read them to you and be like, see, um, again, would make me no different from anybody else or whatever. So I think what I would like to do, and again, we'll see what the Lord do, but I'm thinking that what I'm going to do is share with you all what I came across, in regards to when I went deeper to find out what things mean and everything like that. And then give you all something to go off of, and for you to go and do your own, as they say, research and look into this stuff yourself. Because at the end of the day, if nothing else, if you don't receive anything else from this juice this morning, I hope that you understand and see that it is definitely very, very important for us to read the Bible for ourselves, for us to get into the word, see what it has to say, and then perhaps that would give some clarity to the things that we find to be confusing in this season. And so let's get into it. Liberal versus conservative Christianity. Okay. So the first thing I did this morning when attacking this idea is to look up words, right? So I looked up the word liberal and conservative. I looked up the word conservative as well. Now, okay, I'm gonna share the definitions, and then I'm just gonna let them marinate before I say any commentary. So when I looked up the word liberal, the definition I came across says willing to respect or accept behavior or opinions different from own, open to new ideas. Okay. The definition of conservative, when I looked it up this morning, says averse to change or innovation and holding traditional values. So if I just stop right there for a moment, I don't know what y'all heard when y'all heard that. But to me, when I was reading that this morning, I just was like, it's very interesting, the word choices here. That to me, it was very interesting, the words that were used to define these words. It made me want to go deeper. I mean, obviously, when you hear the words, you're like, oh yes, I know what these words mean. This makes sense to me. I understand the definitions. However, I just think it's very important to again go deeper and look into stuff, because again, I just found it to be very interesting, the word choices that was used, and it does seem to be leaning one way versus another. Just the definitions, not even getting into nothing else, just the definition of liberal versus conservative. I found that to be very interesting. So I went deeper. I ended up looking up the word respect, because you see the word liberal, it said willing to respect or accept behavior or opinions different from own, open to new ideas, right? So I looked up the word respect, and the word respect, the word respect says a feeling of deep admiration for someone or something, except, no, excuse me, that was the word respect. I believe that was like the second definition for the word respect. A feeling of deep admiration for someone or something. I just said to myself, okay. So when I go back to the word liberal, right? Willing to respect. So willing to, I guess, have a deep feeling of admiration for someone or something. Okay. I mean, I have an understanding of that. I just thought it was very interesting. Again, the word choice. Now, the second word that was used in the definition of liberal said to accept. Okay. Now, again, that don't sound bad. Sounds good to me. Respect and accept. Both of these words, nothing's wrong with these words. I just felt like it was interesting to define the word liberal. But let's go. Let's see what it says. So the word accept, the second definition says believe or come to recognize an opinion, explanation as valid or correct. Believe or come to recognize an opinion or explanation as valid or correct. So liberal, just going off of these definitions here, it's saying liberal is willing to respect, which is to admire someone or something, deep admiration, right? Or accept, come to recognize as valid or correct. So, and then what are we coming to do that with? Behavior or opinions different from own, open to new ideas. Okay. Again, I found this to be interesting. I found it to be very interesting for a lot of different reasons. But I feel like this is where some of the issue comes in. Because for some reason, right, with this idea of liberal, just the word, just the definition, not even talking about nothing else, just the definition alone is painting a certain picture. It's painting the picture of respecting and accepting behaviors that are different from our own and being open to new ideas. All these things sounds great. It does. It sounds wonderful. But let's talk about conservative. Let's talk about that word real quick. So again, it said what the definition, it just literally says averse to change or innovation, holding traditional values. Okay. Okay. It doesn't sound as light as liberal does. It don't sound that light. It sounds kind of heavy, sounds kind of dark, And I'm like, okay, let's look up these words. Look at these words. So when I look up the word adverse, adverse, that word says strong dislike or opposition to something. I said, oh, okay. So according to the definition, it's saying strong dislike or opposition to change. That's literally what the definition is saying when it uses the word adverse. So it's saying the word conservative, just the word. Now, I ain't talking about the people and nothing like that. I'm talking about the word that it's saying. It's the word, the definition of conservative says strong dislike or opposition to change. Okay, that don't sound too good, right? That don't sound great at all. That sounds kind of bad, right? Okay, and let's keep on going, right? And then it goes to change or innovation, and then it says and holding traditional values. And so I said, okay, well let's look up. I know I got a good idea what traditional means, but let's go into values real quick. Let me just see, right? And so I ended up looking up the word value, and the second here says a person's principle or standards of behavior, one's judgment of what is important in life. Okay. Now, again, I just found these definitions to be very, very interesting. It does, if I don't know if you see in here, but it does kind of weigh one a little bit more than the other. It makes one sound more great than the other. It sounds, if you just go to this and you're just looking up definitions, and if you're somebody that really truly have no idea of what these words mean, and you look it up, then you would think to yourself, one sounds better than the other one, and this is what I want to go with, right? And that's cool. Like at the end of the day, hey, you are free to do whatever you want to do. The word and practices. Okay. So again, all these things were very interesting to me this morning because at the end of the day, again, when you hear these debates, you see these debates, you see this ongoing battle, if you will, of what would Jesus do in this season? What side would Jesus be on? You know what I'm saying? One side say he'll be on our side and doing this and that. And the other side is like, he'll be on our side doing this and that. And so what do you do, right? If you're somebody that is new to the faith and all this, and you're like, okay, I'm hearing all these different things, more than likely, then you're probably going to go with whatever you personally think. This is just again, just being in general. If I'm somebody brand new and I'm trying to figure out this whole Christianity thing and this whole what's going on between these different opinions that I'm hearing, then I would probably go with unless I was reading the word and I was willing to do what the word said. Now that's another thing that we have to keep in mind. So unless I'm a Bible reader and I'm reading what the Bible says and I'm living according to that, I would just go off of whatever I thought, right? And then go with that. Just saying, if I was approaching this idea as a new person with no background, no, like, if it just brand new and all that, right? So, and this is just my idea of what I think a person would do. Again, this is just me and my little thoughts here, trying to make some sense of all this. So, okay. So I guess, again, this is why it's important for us to read the Bible for ourselves and to not lean on our understanding and see what the word has to say. And that's what I was doing this morning. So I went deeper. I looked up a lot. There was a lot of things I came across, a lot of verses. And it was interesting. It was very, very interesting. But there was only a couple that I felt led to share in this moment of the juice. So the first one is Romans 14:1. And it says, as for the one who is weak in faith, welcome him, but not to quarrel over opinions. I mean, hey, I don't know how many people feel like they they are living in I just don't see many people doing this on either side, right? And I mean, and I'm saying either side to be fair. I'm just saying that to be fair. You know, I don't, and I'm not saying that no one does this. Now, that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that when you hear these different ideas and these different things being debated and all this different stuff, or when you see the blogs that people write and just all these different things, you don't necessarily see this idea of, not quarreling over opinions, right? You more so see, why aren't you believing what I believe? What's wrong with you all? What kind of Jesus are you serving? And vice versa. So yeah, that was the first verse I came across this morning that I felt led to share. So that's that one. And then the second one is Romans 12:2. It says, do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect. So again, if we want to get an understanding of which side, if we got to feel like we got to be on a side, right? Because I mean, okay, to a certain extent, yeah, we are being asked to choose a side to a certain extent, right? And so, when it comes to, the way we vote and just all these different things, we're asked to be on a certain side, or we're asked to vote a certain way, or whatever case is. And because here in America, at least at the moment, we'll see, but far as we know, right, we have freedom, right, to choose and all those different things. And so, because of that, it behooves us to see, like, what values line up with ours and all these different things, right, and go with that group or whatever the case is, weighing things, I would say let God lead us into what decisions to make and choices. And when it comes to everything, I'm not just talking about voting, but I mean, when it comes to everything, right? How we live, what we do, like, all those different things. And so, but unfortunately, what we witness is the opposite, right? We witness people being conformed to this world. We witness letting the world transform our minds, and we witness, not including God in any of this in order to figure out His will and what's acceptable and perfect in His eyes. We're leaning towards our own idea of what those things mean in our own hearts and minds and eyes, or whatever you want to say. So, and I think, again, there's wherein lies some of the issues here. So what do we do? What do we do? Which side is right? And all those questions. Again, there's so many questions I had this morning as I was reading and as I was trying to get some understanding about all of this. And I guess I would just say at this point, friends, family, believers in Christ, Bible readers, um, you know, it would behoove us to get into the word and see what it has to say and go by that. Yeah, some things are inevitable, so it's not like, this is all part of God's plan and everything like that. And so some things may not make sense and all these different things. And again, something may sound very great and compared to the opposite thing. And, depending on where you are and your beliefs and all these different things, it's like, oh, well, I believe this or I believe that. And, hey, you can have your own opinions about all things. Yes. However, when it comes to God's will and all these different things, I mean, at the end of the day, regardless of what side of the coin you're on, what we need to see is that the Bible's very clear about us all being one, right? We all have that free will. We all were given the gift and the grace and mercy of salvation. We are all welcome, regardless of race, regardless of gender, any of these things, y'all, any of these things. And so if you truly want to know, God's will, right? If you truly want to know what the word has to say about this, and in order for you to make a sound decision, then again, I would behoove you to get into the word of God. So I'm not going. What I'm going to do in this moment is I'm going to share what I call the go deeper section. Basically every day, I don't know if you all know or not, but every day when I post these, I post not only verses that I share through here, what I call the supporting verses. I post those in a text form in the information sections of these, but I also post another section where I call go deeper, which are things that I read in this morning to help me get a better idea of some of the supporting verses or whatever. So today I'm going to share the go deeper section, not all the verses. I'm just going to share what they are and where they are, and you guys can just go and read them yourself. Because at the end of the day, I can read them all day and tell you, and then you'd be like, oh, you're just saying something. Oh, no. So I believe that if you truly, truly are ready to go deeper, then you'll read these verses on your own and then pray and see what God tells you about this idea of liberal and conservative Christianity. So get your pens and papers, y'all. Get your pens and papers. Here we go. Here's the go deeper section for today. They are typed out again at the bottom of the videos or whatnot, if you're listening to the podcast, it should be in the section where it has words. But if not, here's the go deeper section for today. And I hope that you guys let it marinate on your hearts, souls, and minds. All right. So check out Colossians 2:8. Colossians 2:8. Also check out 2 Thessalonians 2:15. 2 Thessalonians 2:15. The next one is 1 Corinthians 11:2. 1 Corinthians 11:2. Next, check out 2 Thessalonians 3:6. 2 Thessalonians 3:6. And last but not least, if you can and will, check out 2 Timothy 4:3-4. 2 Timothy 4:3-4. If you guys check those out, again, let them marinate on your hearts, souls, and minds today. Hopefully it'll help us get some understanding about all of this. And, that's the juice, y'all. That's the juice. Now, the Bible verse of today is Psalm 34:8. It says, "Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the man that trusteth in him." Friends, I hope you all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration and juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow. Oh, what's today? Today's Thursday, right? Today's Thursday, right? Yes, that means that tomorrow's Friday, and that means that I am going to be having a new episode of God, Sex, and Love, the talk show. I'm going to actually be going live tomorrow. Yes, so it'll be a live episode of God, Sex, and Love. Unfortunately, I forgot the gentleman's name. I know it's Branch. Branch. I don't want to say his last name wrong. So, Mr. Branch, I'm going to be chit-chatting with Mr. Branch tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on our Facebook and YouTube. It would be GSL Live, y'all, with Mr. Branch. He's an author. You guys may have seen his posts or the flyers on our pages, on our different platforms. So that's the gentleman that I'm going to be chit-chatting with tomorrow, if the Lord's will. But until then, I guess I will see you all tomorrow. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye. And as for my Facebook and YouTube friends, thank you for tuning in. I see there's somebody live, so hello, good morning to you. Thank you for tuning in. I hope that you enjoyed the juice this morning. I hope it was informative in some way. Again, this whole subject, I know, is touchy, and people are going in and they just want to go back and forth about different ideas and whatnot. But as believers, right, or as Christians and everything like that. Oh, good morning, Miss Ashley. Oh, good morning to you. Thank you for tuning in. I hope that you enjoyed it. Oh, I appreciate you, man. Look, y'all keep me going out here. Look, my faithful few out here that listen to you, girl. I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, I know that it, again, this is a touchy topic, and people, it's like, but at the end of the day, I think the Bible is kind of clear about, what we should do, and but again, I mean, hey, we gotta read it for ourselves though, because that was one of the main questions, or one of the main things, because when I was seeing like posts or seeing like people talk about it, and it's like, oh, Jesus would do this or Jesus would do that, and oh, hey. Awesome, thank you for tuning in. I really do appreciate you. Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, I mean, it's like, oh, this is what Jesus would do. But I'm like, but then sometimes it's stuff that's completely like not in Bible. And I'm like, man, where are you getting this from? Like, at the end of the day, I mean, we got to read it. We got to read it to see like what he would do and what he wants us to do. And, I feel like the more we seek, we're going to find. Like, that's what's happened with me. And I believe many other people that read the Bible, it's like, to me, I'm like, okay, it's very clear about things that it says, and it's just very interesting, though. Very, very interesting to observe everything that's going on. But regardless, again, I hope that this helps. I hope that you go deeper, Miss Ashley, and whoever else watches. I hope that you're, oh girl, oh, you finna get in there now. Yep, you finna get in. Miss Ashley says people are doing what they would do and not what Jesus would do. Amen. Amen. Girl, don't hold on now. Look, you trying to start something this morning, Miss Ashley. I try my best to just, come to this thing with, I'm not going to tell nobody. Because at the end of the day, again, we can all have our different opinions, right? God made us with free will. You can have different opinions. Or, my whole thing is if you're going to be a believer, then you might want to look and see what it says and stuff like that, and go off of that. But anywho, that's girl, that's a whole nother topic, girl. We be here all day talking about that. But yeah, as for everybody, again, I hope that you all are encouraged and inspired to at least read the word and find out this information for yourself. Again, I found that those definitions were very, very interesting. So it just, for me, I guess what I didn't say on the podcast, is that I felt like the definitions you could tell like a certain mindset wrote those definitions. And that's why I said it's very interesting, the word choices. And then when you looked up the words and what the words that were they were using to define the words meant, it just was like, wow, like, so you're really painting a picture of one being this, I don't know, one being better than the other, basically. And but hey, I mean, hey, let the word, read the Bible for yourself and check it out, see what it has to say, and then go from there. Go from there. Well, I do appreciate you, Miss Ashley. Thank you for tuning in. I know it's early, so I really do appreciate you taking out the time to watch your girl live. And as for everybody else that may be tuning in later on, I hope you guys, again, enjoyed everything. Hope you have a wonderful day. And I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Bye.